get over the mindset of greed, right? We have to have the mindset of long term. If I invest in Microsoft, if I invest in Google, which is YouTube, right? And I jump in on my first investment and it goes down, I can't be discouraged. Why? Because the overall goal is long-term investing. In fact, if I make my first investment, let's say if I jump in, if I since we on Google and this is YouTube, I'm gonna use that as an example. Let's say I jump in on long term. I jump in right now on Google, which Google owns YouTube. Shout out to YouTube and shout out to Google. And shout out to all the content creators. And okay, I decided to jump in right now. My first long-term investment, my first investment. I've never invested in anything before in my life, but I got everything intact. I got my emergency fund to the side, right? Because that's another, but I'm going to say this right now. Before you start investing, you have to have an emergency fund, which is a load of money to the side. Whatever your emergency fund number is, it's up to you. Have your emergency fund to the side before you even start investing. Because if something happens and you don't have any emergency fund, first thing you're going to do is what? To sell your stocks, to take care of if you have any issues in life. Because, life happens, right? So when life happens, we don't want to have to sell a stock or go into the 401k plan to take care of the emergency. No, that's a no-no. That's a no-no. We never want to sell your investment just because a life problem happens. Don't get me wrong. Some people, they put all their eggs in the stock market, which is nothing wrong with that. But what you got to realize is that if an emergency happens, you cannot sell your investments. I don't care if it's a 401k. I don't care if it's an annuity. I don't care if it's a life insurance policy. I don't care if it's what it is. If it's a house, whatever. You cannot sell your investment. So you would have to do whatever you need to do. You would have to go out and find a way to take care of the emergency. But never sell your investment. Never. That's one of the worst mistakes you can make. And matter of fact, that's one of my worst mistakes. I sold an investment that I should have held on to. That's one of my worst, biggest mistakes. So you have to have an emergency fund first, right? Just in case an emergency happens. Then start investing into the stock market or whatever you want to invest in. So let's say that I got in right now. On long term, I said, well, okay, I got my emergency fund. I got my trading account. My brokerage account is funded, right? And I'm continually putting into my brokerage account. I'm continually adding on to my brokerage account. Every time I get paid, I pay myself, which is my brokerage account is how I pay myself and my emergency fund. So I'm loaded into my brokerage account and I'm loaded into my emergency fund at the same time, right? As long as I don't have no emergency, guess what happens, you guys? My emergency fund elevates and it builds, right? Thank God for no emergencies. So you can go 2, 3, 4, 5 years without any emergencies and continue to grow this emergency fund. That's kind of like saving, but it's called an emergency fund. And then you start loading up your brokerage account, right? And I jump in right now on, as an example, and I would jump in my first share of stock, Google, right? jump in. This is as an example. Google. Boom. Okay. And what happened is I buy in, let's just say if I bought it at 187.60, the opening of the day, I just went on, okay, I bought my first share of Google. Congratulations. I am now a business owner. Because don't get it twisted. If you invest into these companies that we know, like, and trust, you are now a business owner. You're a financier of the business. You don't do the footwork or the groundwork. You are what? A private investor. So I jump in at 187.60. They give me my share. Good. After I get my share, it goes down. I cannot be discouraged. Why? Number one is long term. I have the mindset of I'm not looking for a quick buck right now. I'm looking to pass it down to the kids and the grandkids. That way, if it do go down like it's doing right now, I'm not discouraged that I see red. I'm not discouraged that I see this. I buy my share, or however many shares you buy. I buy my shares, and I go on about my day. I go to work, or whatever it is that you do. Then guess what? You wait another 2 or 3 weeks. Well, whenever you feel like you want to buy more, you add to the portfolio. And guess what? The mindset of, well, if you go down, I just buy more at a cheaper price. That's how long-term investing works. And you keep on building. You keep on buying a share. You might buy 5 shares this month. Next month it might be 10 shares. And the next month you might get buy 50 shares. It's income tax season. You might say, well, hey, I'm gonna put, if you get an $8,000 tax return, you might say, well, hey, I'm gonna put $3,000 into my emergency fund. I'm gonna spend $1,000. The rest I'm gonna put into the brokerage account, and I'm not gonna spend the rest of the $3,500 or $3,000 that's left over all in one stock. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna break it up. I'm gonna buy $500 worth here. I'm gonna wait. When I get a deal, buy another $500. Dollar cost average down or up. See, that's how you start in building a portfolio. So I hope that helps somebody out, right? But the main goal is you have to have an investment business mindset. That's all we lack is the mindset, the shift of we already make an earn. All we got to do is spend less and start investing long term. See, the thing is, when you start buying stocks long term, guess what happens? You get a mojo. You start feeling yourself. You start carrying yourself like a business owner. You get into the mindset of you're not a customer. You are what? You're a business. Yes. Especially when you get up to 500 shares, 800 shares, 200 shares, 300 shares. Just think about it. If you're a content creator, right? YouTube. And guess what? You own 200 shares of Google, 300 shares of Google. You watching Netflix. You own 300 shares of Netflix, or whatever the case may be. You own an Apple phone, which Apple is doing regular. You own an Apple phone, right? You're excited about the Apple earnings that I think already passed. But guess what? You are looking at an Apple computer, an Apple phone, an Apple iPad, an Apple Watch. You're looking at it differently. Why? Because you own 200 or 300 shares of Apple. You are a business owner. So what Tim Cook does, who is the CEO of Apple, by the way, what he does and whatever other streams of income that he's bringing into the business, guess what? You are more concerned about other streams of income to do what? To raise the value of the company. And when the value of the company goes up, guess what? We are happy as investors because why? The stock price goes up. So I hope that helps someone out right there. That quick little, just a switch of the mindset right? That's all it takes. So I hope that helps somebody out. You know what I'm saying? I hope that helped y'all